my friends, my name is Lindsey and I run the blog Books for Christian Girls, and welcome back to the little corner of the internet where I talk mainly about Christian fiction. Today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book Freakout tag, which I try to do every year. It doesn't always happen, but I wanted to do it this year and I didn't think it would happen, so I'm excited I get to do it. And I thought we would change it up a little bit though from my prior years of doing this, because this year I have read 115 books and it's pretty split, but a little bit more that I've read more clean fiction than Christian fiction, which usually I would always read more Christian fiction than clean fiction, but this year I've been binging Melanie Cellier's fairytale retellings series, and that has definitely bumped up the numbers in the clean fiction side. So I thought we would give an answer for both. So question number 1 is best book you've read so far in 2024. And for clean fiction, I'm going to say The Princess Companion by Melanie Cellier. Blew my mind and just started my binge reading. Like, that was such a fun book. And then as a bonus for rereading, The Mysterious Banning Society. Obviously, I adore this book with every inch of my heart. Every inch, every fiber, every beat. I don't know what you want to say, but I love that book. And then for Christian fiction, I haven't had a 5-star yet, but I have had some 4s and 4.5s. So one of them that I didn't mention in the rest of these questions that I'm going to say for this question would be Hey Jude, Carpenter by Schultz. This is a contemporary Christian YA book that was just so cute, and you've been hearing me talk about it since it released. So, yeah. So we're going to kind of do it like that. I'm going to share with y'all my Christian fiction answer and my clean fiction answer. And I'm going to try not to do any duplicates. Wish me luck. There's going to be some that fit, but I'm going to try to give you a new recommendation as well. So let's get started with question number 2 now. Question number 2 is the best sequel you've read so far in 2024. And for Christian fiction, I actually have read about 6 different book 2s in a series, and none of them surpassed the first book for me personally. But one I did end up really enjoying just as much as the first book, which is, I think that's pretty good, would be Dawn and the Letters by Eliza Noel. This was such a cute Christian, middle grade, just fun story. The first book I read at the beginning of the year, I think it was, and I really enjoyed it. But then this second book was just as cute as well, so it was been fun. And then for clean fiction, I'm going to say To Capture His Heart by Nancy Campbell Allen. I read the first book, I think, last year, and I read book 2 and 3 in the trilogy this year. But book 2 was definitely my favorite, and I just thought it was so much fun. It has fake dating. She's a photographer. There's a little bit of suspense. This is a clean Victorian kind of mystery suspense trilogy, if you will, about 3 cousins and their love interests, and it was just really fun. I really, really enjoyed the second book. Question number 3, new release you haven't read yet but want to. And for Christian fiction, I'm going to say Protector by Schaulis. I'm hoping to get to that one soon, within the next month or so, hopefully. This is a Christian YA dystopian slight retelling of Esther, and that just sounds like something I'm really going to enjoy. I have super high hopes for it. I'm trying to lower my hopes because I feel like lately when I have high hopes for a book, they end up not meeting them, with very, very few exceptions. So I'm trying to calm myself down and then read it because I really want to like it. And then for clean fiction, I'm going to say Chromatic by Ashley Bustamante. That one came out in May, and Protector I think came out sometime around that. I think May, April, June, something like that. And Chromatic is book 3 in the Color Theory series, and I'm curious to see the ending, the what's going to happen kind of thing. So looking forward to both of those. Question number 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. For Christian fiction, I'm going to say Target Acquired by Lynette Eason. I'm going to be reading that one here in the next week or so. So I'm excited about that one. I really liked the first book, so I'm super curious about this one. They just released not just, but a bit ago, they released the book, the cover for book 3 in that series, and I gasped. Look at this. Wow, right? So I'm definitely looking forward to reading book 2 for the Christian fiction answer for this question. And then for clean fiction, I honestly don't feel like I have one per se. I don't really anticipate much clean fiction. I just read them when I have them and I'm interested in them, and I have kind of a downtime of reading Christian fiction for reviewing. So I don't really necessarily have one, but maybe I would say book 5 in the Secrets of Ormdale series. I think that's by Christina Baehr. I think that's the title of the series. The Wormwood Abbey series. Book 5 is supposed to release in the last half of this year. So I'm looking forward to that one, but I haven't even read book 3 or 4 yet. I want to read them so bad, but the audiobook just released for the first book. So I'm kind of like, oh, should I listen to that, reread book 2, then 3 and 4? I'm thinking about it, but I'll say that one for this question. Question number 5, your biggest disappointment. I don't like answering this question. I really don't. This is like one of those questions I try to avoid in tags, but I'm going to answer it this year because I do have some. So for Christian fiction, it would be the Bailey McKenzie book by Tina R. Young. I talked about this in the recent reads where I had controversy after controversial thought. So that was, I'm not going to think about that or I'm going to get upset. And then for clean fiction, I'm going to say I was disappointed in The Golden Prince by Alison Vaya, but I'm thinking that's how you say the author's last name. I'm not sure if it is or not. I've read other books by this author and enjoyed them, but this one, for some reason, I just could not stand the Rapunzel main character. And Rapunzel is typically a book or a retelling I really, really like. So I was really disappointed that I ended up not enjoying this book as much as I was hoping. So I think I gave it like a 2.5 or a 3. I don't even remember. Maybe a 2. I don't remember. But I was just disappointed because I was so excited for, you know, a Rapunzel retelling. But yeah, I didn't like the main girl. I didn't like her at all. And then question number 6, biggest surprise for the year. For Christian fiction, I feel like it's been pretty consistent this year. The ones I expected to like, I did like. Ones I was like, about, I felt about. And the ones I honestly didn't have low expectations about any except a couple. And they ended up matching that. And some might think like, oh, you're, you know, judging a book before you read it. And no, I go into books with a pretty open mind most like 99% of the time. So it's not that. But I would say one that shocked me by how much I ended up enjoying it would be Never Fall Again by Lynn H. Blackburn. This is a romantic suspense book, but it's a very, very light suspense. And it's kind of just like added in here and there. I didn't love the ending on the suspense, but I did really like the romance and thought that element was really cute. And I'm looking forward to reading book 2. I think that's releasing in March. So I'm going to continue on with this series, but I actually ended up enjoying it quite a bit more than I was expecting. And then for clean fiction, I'm going to say Melanie Cellier's fairytale retelling series that I've been binging. So that's the Four Kingdoms series, Beyond the Four Kingdoms series, and then I'm currently reading the Return to the Four Kingdoms series. And then she's got a spin-off duology that is connected but isn't connected. I'm not quite sure how that works yet. I'll figure it out when I get there, I guess. I'm almost there. I have a few more books and then I get to start that, and then I'm just going to be like going through withdrawal of that series because I'll be done. And I'm going to be like, what do I read next? I don't know. What fairy tale retelling should I read next? If you have any recommendations, let me know. I've read, like, you know, Melanie Dickerson and obviously Melanie Cellier. So, like, if you have any other clean fairy tale retelling recommendations, especially if they're available on Kindle Unlimited, let me know in the comments. I would love that. But I thought I was going to like this series. I thought I was going to like, yeah, I like it. It's not bad. I thought it would be more that mindset. But I really have been so pleasantly surprised and shocked by how much I've just gotten sucked into the world, particularly the first series. I do see why everyone says that series is the best. It's hard to top greatness in all reality, and that first book, The Princess Companion, was just fantastic. So I knew I was probably gonna, you know, I'd like some, maybe not love others, but I have been pretty consistently enjoying all of them, and that's been a really big surprise to me. And I've been talking about this series for the last few videos, that it's just been really neat how original, like, it's the classic fairy tale, but the author has just, like, made it into her world so well and just so naturally where it doesn't feel like the retelling is the star of the show. It's the characters are the star of the show, and oh, wait a second, there's nods to fairy tale retellings, and I just think that's really neat. So yeah, that's been a really big surprise for me this year. Question number 7, favorite new author, debut, or new to you? So I am particularly particular on favorite authors. Saying an author is a favorite author is a really, really big deal in my brain. So like I honestly only have 2, and that's Erin Mangum and Janice Thompson. And if you know my channel, you know that. I don't really, like, there's other authors I will read, and like they're auto read authors to me, not maybe auto buy, but they're auto read authors. And that is probably what a lot of people consider to be favorite authors, but for me, my favorite authors are those top 2, and so far no one else has joined their ranks. But I would say Melanie Cellier is going to be one I'm going to be watching out for and checking out all her other books. I have read one other series by her, and I may have to see about her other books, but these fairy tale retellings have kind of like just like had me in a chokehold. Like, it's been fun. It's been really enjoyable. So maybe her, I guess, she'd be added to my auto read authors, I guess you could say. So not necessarily a new favorite, because favorite is like such a high honor in my opinion, but definitely one I'm watching out for. Question number 8 is newest fictional crush, and I personally don't do that. That's just not my thing. So next question. Question number 9 is newest favorite character. For the Christian fiction ones, I'm gonna say Arthur, Theodore, whatever you want to call him, from A Lady's Guide to Marvels and Misadventures. And it's not just because I love this line. It's not just because I love that line. That line doesn't hurt though. And basically he's kind of like keeping his identity a secret, and then she's just pestering him about, why aren't you telling me your name, and then he says that line. It's like, how am I not supposed to love him? I'm sorry. Like, that was cute. That was very cute. And then for clean fiction, I want to say Alyssa and Max from The Princess Companion by Melanie Cellier. I really want to say those, but since I've already mentioned that book in the series, I don't know if I really have one. Because again, favorite is like a big deal to me. That word is like, I will choose this over everything else kind of thing. So, I don't know. I really do like Edith from the Wormwood Abbey series. I really like her. I think she's just so much fun. And I read book 2 earlier this year. Drake Hall. I read that one earlier this year. So maybe her for clean fiction. Because like I could mention the couple from To Capture His Heart, but I already mentioned that book. So I'm trying to think of new ones. So I did just talk about this series though, so maybe that doesn't count. But anyway, we're going to go with it. There's a few. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry. And in all reality, it's typically just Christian fiction that makes me cry, because it has faith content that has moments that just touch my heart and maybe are so relatable in what I'm feeling. And that kind of thing, I feel like it's typically Christian fiction. So for that, I would say A Lady's Guide to Marvels and Misadventures by Angela Bell. That book really just hit home for me in a lot of ways. I related to the main girl in a lot of ways. And I cried a lot. I still need to tab my copy. I haven't tabbed my copy. I need to do that. And then as just like an extra one that made me cry because I'm a dog mom, Road Trip Rescue by Becca Warwheel. I'm not sure how to pronounce the author's last name. Yeah, that one made me cry because I'm a dog mom. And yeah, it has to do with dogs. Honestly, you put a dog in a book, there's the chances of me crying in it, off the charts there. I love my puppy dog, so yeah, there's that. For clean fiction, honestly, I can say there's not really been one that has made me cry, because typically it has to do with the faith content, but I just read one yesterday that actually did make me cry, and it's actually a Korean manhwa, which is a kind of like a manga, but Korean, and I would say Your Letter, and the author's name is Hyuna Cho, and Hyuna, is it Hyuna? I have the Korean edition, but I actually have it blocked by my camera setup, so I can't do that. But this was actually just printed in English, and I've read this now 3 times, and every time I ugly cry at the end. I don't want to say I bawl, but I kind of, like, it's just all of a sudden, waterworks, crying, snot, like, it's lovely. And yeah, this book I'm going to talk more about in my next recent reads, but I don't typically talk about Korean manhwas because I have a really hard time, number 1, finding ones I like, and then number 2, finding ones that are available in English, because I do try to read them in Korean. And so, or like the unofficial English ones. So with this one, I was really excited to see that it was coming into English, but there is language in it, so I want to give a note to that. And then bullying is a major thing in this book, but the ending of it just makes me cry. It just makes me cry. And typically clean fiction books do not make me cry. I wanted to hold up that book though, because I just got it. And I read it in like an hour yesterday because I was just like, by the end, it just builds up. It just builds up. So the next question is question number 11, and that's a book that makes you happy. And I would say for Christian fiction, Meeting Her Match by Jen Toronto definitely made me happy. That book was just such a fun time. It was just so much fun. It was so, maybe silly. Some people would probably call it silly, but I ended up really enjoying it like I was expecting to in all reality. And it was just fun. It's got a little bit of the fake dating. You've got the crazy characters and just the crazy things that happen to the characters, and it's just such a fun time. And then for clean fiction, I would say A Game of Hearts by Joanna Barker. That book, oh, I talked about that in my last video, which actually, yes, let's discuss the elephant in the room real quick. I still have books out from last week's video. I meant to film a TikTok and a reel with those, and I just haven't yet, so please ignore the fact that there's books everywhere and the bookshelves are in disarray, okay? Yes, thank you. So with A Game of Hearts, that book just made me happy. It did. It did. The rivals to more, enemies to more, archery, just every bit of it. Yeah, I liked a lot of parts of it. It made me happy. Question number 12, beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. And I actually made a whole video on all the books I've bought this year. It was kind of a ridiculous amount. I'll link it up there if you haven't seen it. Have fun. It's a massive book haul. But I'm going to say these two for that. For Christian fiction, I'm going to say The Elusive Truth of Ellie Temple. Ellie. Where did Ellie come from? The Elusive Truth of Lily Temple. So sorry, I'm renaming her. By Joanna Davidson Politano. This cover, oh, I just scratched myself, but this cover is absolutely so pretty. There's just something about it I just think is gorgeous, and it fits so well. This is such a thick book. It's lovely. And then for clean fiction, I'm going to say Assassin of Fire and Sacrifice by Mary Meckham, but the paperback cover is pretty, and I have that one. It's pretty, but the hardback with the special art is just like, wow. It's just great. It's great. So, yeah, I like The Rivals to More We're Learning, so there you go. Yeah, those were very pretty books in my opinion. And then the final question is question number 13. What books do you still need to read by the end of the year? And like I always answer this question with this tag every time, too many. I can actually be a little more specific this year though and say because of my priority 2024 shelf on Goodreads, I've only read 31 of them, so I still have at least 49 to read. Grr. I thought I was doing good on that, and I mean, I guess that's almost at the halfway point, but we're just over the halfway point, so my brain is telling me I need to do better on those, and I agree, I do, but the Melanie Cellier fairytale retelling series have just, like, taken my attention, and I'm like a little squirrel over here paying attention to those instead of the stack of books I should be reading, so we'll see. In all honesty, this may be relatable for some, and then others are like, I don't understand this at all, but I'm going to share it anyway. That I feel like at the end of the year, if I have 20 books left on that list, I'll be fine. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, I did pretty good. I got 60 done. That's not bad. But if I have like 10 or less books left on that shelf, and I got 70 to 70 plus of them off, I'm going to be mad at myself that I didn't get the rest of them done. Does anyone else relate to that thought? Because I'm kind of already trying to gear myself up to like, okay, just pick the top ones out. It's okay. Because I'm really bad that when I set goals, I want to meet them. And maybe that's a perfectionist type A. In me, it's very likely. But I want to meet my goals that I set. And so when I don't make them, I get mad at myself. And it ruins the fun. So I'm trying to like chill out on that. But I'm human. I see my flaws. I'm working on them. I just need to read. That's all I need to do. I just need to read. That's fine. I'll just read. So with that little confession, that is the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I don't really think I'm going to tag anyone else because, number one, I'm super behind on my watch later list. I am like 4 months behind. It's crazy. I'll get there one day, y'all, but I'm not sure who's done this or not. And then at the same time, I feel like a lot of people already did it in July, so I won't officially tag anyone. But if you want to do this one, if you haven't done it, if you want to do it on Instagram or here, TikTok, wherever, just let me know and I'll check out your video or your post and we can see your answers and it will be really fun. I think that's it though. I'm not going to keep y'all for too long. This will be maybe, hopefully, a slightly shorter video than normal, but I will see y'all next time. Thank you so much for watching. I am Lindsey from the blog booksforchristiangirls.blogspot.com, where there is a new review every Monday and Friday. I try to post a new video on this channel every Friday, and then I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, Goodreads, all the many places to talk about books here, there, and everywhere. I hope you have an absolutely lovely rest of your day, y'all. Bye!